Hello, everybody. Welcome to this presentation of Strat-O-Matic 2024. As you know, last week I bought 3 seasons from Strat-O-Matic, kind of went off the deep end and bought 3 seasons. Bought 1962, 1976, and 2024. And I've said for the last year or two, I'm just not into the modern game, but I'm trying to change that. And one of the ways I was trying to change that was to learn about the players in the modern game by getting the 2024 set. I have played a game or two with those on the channel, but I thought the best way to do it is to really do a deep dive into that. And so I am bringing back the Demolition League that I had for the 2015 season a couple of years ago. And I'm going to be taking 10 teams from the 2024 season. These are hand-picked teams. These are not random because I did not want to get the Chicago White Sox. So I did not do it random. My apologies to Tenacious Earl. He is the author of this concept, and I, borrowed it from him. That's why he calls it his Tenacious League, because 10, Tenacious is, the first 3 letters are 10. But since my channel is Baseball Demos, I figured I would do the Demolition League to try to do a playoff words on that. So my goal is to take, well, my goal was and is to not use any of those 10 teams from the 2015 season that I played the first time around. Want to be totally fresh, no repeats of teams, which is a shame because some of those teams would have been very interesting to play in this particular turnout as it was. So in case you are not familiar with the 10 teams I had previously, I try to get some from each division. So from the American League East, I had the Boston Red Sox and I had the Tampa Bay Rays. From the Central, I had the Cleveland Indians. From the West, I had the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros. Those are the 5 teams from the American League. They will not be in this Demolition League. From the National League, I had from the East, I had the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Mets. From the Central, I had the Cincinnati Reds. And from the West, I had the San Francisco Giants and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So none of those teams are going to be in this Demolition League. My thought process on picking these teams was to try to get a mix of good and bad, and thinking the bad might be more fun because there's more players, which means as players get injured, I got more guys on the bench I can grab and bring in and all this stuff. So what the Demolition League basically is a 10-team league where each team plays 6 games against the other, 3 at home, 3 on the road. So those 9 opponents, 6 games of 54 games, a total of 270 for the whole year. 54 games, 3 at home, 3 away against every team. Obviously, these were not as-played games, so there's no as-played lineups. I've got to make my own lineups. Injuries are in full effect. If a guy gets injured, he's gone. And I got to go to the minor leagues and try to figure out somebody else to put in its place. How I chose the 25-man rosters for all these teams is I just took the guys that had the most at-bats and the most innings pitched. The only criteria I had is that they could not have been on a team previous. Like if they were on 2 teams in the 24 season, they could not be on the second team. They would have to start on the first team, and then if I got traded to the second team, that's fine. But they could be in the minors and still start the season on the 25-man roster. That's not a problem. I just didn't want them to be on the a different team. So mixture of teams. Don't know how it's going to turn out. Again, my goal is to learn the players, and I'm coming late to the party, so I'm almost taking this as a warm up for the 2025 season when that comes out in February, and then maybe I can get a jump start on that and start playing that, in March or February instead of waiting until August. Because, like I said, I'm obviously way behind because I was late getting the season, late getting to the party. But at least, hopefully, if nothing else, this will help me get familiarized with the players in the modern game. And so certainly by 2025, for the season's going on right now, when I go to get that next year in Strat-O-Matic, I hopefully will be very familiar with all the players. So let's take a look at the 10 teams that I chose. And again, I tried to do a smattering so that each division is represented. I'm sorry, can't speak right. Each division is represented, but no more than 2 teams in one division. So there's 10 teams, 5 American, 5 national. So out of the 3 divisions, I'd take 2 out of one division, 2 out of one division, and 1 out of the division to make the 5 teams. So we'll start with the American League. And in the American League, we will go west to east in the American League. The first team I picked in the American League is from the American League. Hello, Prague. First team I picked is from the American League West, and it's the only team I picked from the American League West. I'll have 2 Central and 2 Eastern teams. From the American League West, the final year that the Athletics will be in Oakland, that's who I'm picking. So 69 and 93, not very good team, but lots of players and lots of chances to make player movements and see how they do in this kind of a league. Took 2 teams from the American League Central, and they are pretty close together in, good and bad, so to speak, as far as their record goes. First team is the Minnesota Twins, 82 and 80, managed by Rocco Baldelli. The second team, the Kansas City Royals, managed by Matt Quattraro, 86 and 76. Those are 3 of the 5. Now we got 2 American League East teams. We're going to go north of the border for our friends in Canada for the Toronto Blue Jays, managed by John Schneider, 74 and 88. And finally, I had to do it. I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it. And I'll get flack for doing it. But what can we say? It's the New York Yankees. Aaron Boone's New York Yankees. So those are the 5 teams. It's not really fitting into my screen very well, but I think you get the gist. So the New York Yankees, 94 and 68, managed by Aaron Boone. So what I'm going to do is put these 5 American League teams in one division and put the 5 National League teams in the other. I took the Strat-O-Matic computer from 2023 season because I don't have the 24 season. It's a 23 season, copied all these teams and put them in a fictitious Demolition League 2024 on the Strat computer. It's 3-3-3. I'll show you the schedule in a minute, Dave. So what I did is I took the the teams from 23, brought them over to a new season in the Strat computer called Demolition 24, and then went in and found the players that were, that are on the team this year that weren't there last year. So I had to do some trading and moving around and get all the players where they're supposed to be. And then new players in 24 that weren't there in 23, I created. So I've got everybody that's on the 25-man roster is in the computer so that when I go to play the games and input the stats, the players will be there. Same with the schedule. All right, so best team in the American League by record, New York Yankees at 94 and 68. Worst team, Oakland Athletics, 69 and 93. All right, we go to the National League. National League East has 1 team in it. I picked 1 team, and the reason I picked this team is because I did the Phillies and Mets last time, so I didn't want to pick them, which left 3 teams to choose from. And since I made a comment when I opened the 24 season and the cards and unboxed them, that the Miami Marlins had a ton of players, so this should be fun. I got a lot of transactions I can do with the Miami Marlins. 62 and 100 for the Miami Marlins. Second team, and the Marlins are managed by Skip Schumacher. Next team, managed by Craig Counsell, the Chicago Cubs, 83 and 79 from the National League Central. A second team from the National League Central, managed by Derek Shelton, 76 and 86. Yes, Paul Skeens will start the season with these teams. In this Demolition League, even though in real world he didn't get called up until around May or so, Demolition League, it doesn't matter. He had the top 5 innings pitched for starters, so he is in there as a starting pitcher. May not start game 1, but he's in there as a starting pitcher for the Pirates. That leaves 2 teams from the National League West. and I couldn't use Arizona. I didn't want to use Arizona or Colorado. I'm sorry, Arizona or San Francisco because I used them last time. So that left Colorado, San Diego, and the Dodgers. Well, I decided to not hit the mountains of Bush. So I decided to go California dreaming. So we're doing the San Diego Padres, managed by Mike Schilt, 93 and 69, and Shohei Ohtani's Los Angeles Dodgers, 98 and 64, managed by Dave Roberts. The Strat computer made a schedule for me. I'm not too happy about the way they did the schedule, but I'll live with it. There's not that many off days in there, and it's just kind of, I wish it was more staggered, but this is what the Strat computer came up with. They generated the schedule for me. So the first 3 games are going to be Toronto and Oakland. In Oakland, the Cubs at the Dodgers, the Twins at the, I'm sorry, the Marlins at the Twins, Kansas City at San Diego, and New York at Pittsburgh. So you could see Paul Skeens going against the Yankees in the first series. Hey Ernest, how you doing? Good to see you. Yes, Dab, I downloaded that 2025 in-season thing for History Maker. I'll take a look at it. I haven't printed anything. I just downloaded it. I'll certainly take a look at it for sure. And see, they don't have a whole lot of players there, but it's something to. The neat thing about that is that, hello, Joel. Demolition refers to the DMO in my name, so I just had to have a name for the league that I wanted to start with DEMO, and so I chose Demolition because it's a demolition league. There's injuries, there's rest rolls, so no holds barred. I don't pussyfoot around with it. Shoemaker, did I misspell his name? Skip, is this? I thought it was Skip Schumacher. Did I misspell his name? I'm gonna have to redo the envelope if that's the case. I'll double check that. I'll look at this again and see, or I may not even worry about it. It's the Miami Marlins, so it's probably apropos that they're misspelled. But anyway, that's the those are the 10 teams, and according to our schedule, if we look at the schedule, the very first schedule game is Toronto at Oakland. So we take Toronto and Oakland. We move all these other guys out of the way. And we'll get this game going between Toronto and Oakland. I will show you the rosters for both teams, the 25-man rosters I chose for both teams, I should say. And we'll fill in the score sheet and have some fun. I'm not in any rush, so it's Friday night. So if I stay up a little late, I'm not too worried about it. So Toronto and Oakland, these are the 25-man rosters for the Toronto Blue Jays, and each team has 13 batters and 12 pitchers active. And if, like I said, injuries are applicable, so if somebody gets hurt, I go to the minor leagues and pull it out. So we got George Springer. We have Vladimir Guerrero. We have Davis Schneider. We have catcher Danny Jansen. He would go to Boston later, but he started the season in Toronto. Ernie Clement. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Justin Turner. He would go to Seattle, but he started the season in Toronto. Spencer Horwitz. Alejandro Kirk, Kevin Kiermaier, Dalton Varsho, and Addison Barger, and last but not least, Bo Bichette. So those are the 15 players for the Blue Jays. I don't know. I mean, I know some of these players. I don't know all of them. I know some of them, at least heard of some of them. Some of them I've never heard of before. But those are the 15 players that had the most at bats. Now, the 5-man pitching rotation is as follows. The guy with the most innings pitched gets the opening day nod, and that's Jose Barrios. He had 192 innings. Kevin Gossman is the number 2 starter. He had 181 innings. The number 3 starter is Yusei Kikuchi. He got traded to Houston later, but he has 176 innings, so he's the number 3 starter. Chris Bassett's the number 4 starter, and Bowden Francis is the number 5 starter. He can also do relief, so when he's not starting, if it's a long time between starts, he can pitch an inning relief here and there to help save the bullpen. The bullpen, they have a total of 7 bullpen arms, 5 from the right side, 2 from the left side. They got Trevor Richards. He went to Minnesota later in the season. So we will actually trade him to Minnesota because Minnesota is part of the league. So he'll get traded to Minnesota at the appropriate time. Chad Green, Eric Swanson, Nate Pearson, Zach Pop, and then 2 lefties, Genesis Cabrera and Tim Meza, who gets traded to the Yankees later on. So we'll trade him at the appropriate time too. But he starts the season with Toronto. So those are the Blue Jays. Let's look at the Oakland A's, and I don't know very many Oakland A's either. So like I said, I'm in a learning mode, and this is the best way for me to learn it. Kind of jump in the fire here. All right, their 25-man roster: Ryan Noda, Zach Geloff, J.J. Bleday, Brent Rooker, Seth Brown, Lawrence Butler, Shea Langoliers, Abraham Toro, Miguel Andujar, know him from the Yankees back in the day. J.D. Davis, he used to play for the Mets. He gets traded to the Yankees later on. Tyler Nevin, Max Schumann, I guess it's pronounced, Tyler Soderstrom, and Kyle McCann. Those are the 15 position players. And we look at the pitching rotation, and the guy with the most innings is J.P. Sears, a left-hander. The next man up with the next most innings is going to be Mitch Spence. He's the number 2 guy, 151 innings. Joey Estes is the 3rd starter, 128 innings. Ross Stripling is 85 innings, and then the number 5 starter is Alex Wood. He only had 39 innings, but he was starting early in the season, so I decided to go ahead and use him. Bullpen, and also another starter can relieve as well, is Hogan Harris. Lucas Ursedge, I think is how it's pronounced. Mason Miller, I know he's a good reliever. He had 28 saves. I think he just recently got traded. TJ McFarland's a lefty. Kyle Muller's a lefty. Austin Adams is a righty, and Tyler Ferguson is a righty. So those are the benches and both starters and relievers and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and fill in our score sheet for Game 1 of the Demolition League. Now, most of these I will be playing offline. I will pick certain games to put online. I will most likely do the opening day games for all 5 matchups, just so people can see the teams. But other than that, people are going to get bored with it very quickly, I guess, because it's mostly something I like to do for fun. So, and I want to have variety, so I'll probably show other stuff as well. So I'll probably just do games here and there. J.P. Sears is your starter for the Oakland A's. And now the fun part about this is, yes, Dab, that's exactly how it's scheduled, correct. 3-game series that rotate. If you look at the schedule, 3 games, 3 games, 3 games, everything's set up in a 3-game schedule block. So that's the way the computer did it, so I'll just have to live with it. But what I was saying is that the thing about this is now I've got to create my own lineups. I'm so used to playing as-played lineups that I kind of, just never thought about making my own lineup because I just take whatever the real manager had. Well, this is not that case. This you make your own lineup in. So we know that the opening day starter for Toronto, I can find him. Where did he go? It is Jose Barrios. So Barrios is the starter. He's got a 0 wild pitch, a 0 balk. All right. So let's look at it. We got to figure out, all right, J.P. Sears is a left-handed starter for Oakland. So that means for Toronto, I got to make a lineup and try to keep in mind that a left-hander is pitching. So I got to come up with the lineup and maybe sit a left-hander that doesn't hit well against lefties. Looking at somebody like a Spencer Horwitz, he had 328 at bats, only had 22% of those against lefties. He doesn't hit all that well against lefties, so probably will need to sit him on the bench. So I'll go through this lineup and figure out who they have and what we have. Uh, George Springer looks like a good leadoff man. He's got a decent stealing chance. On base is not too bad. A little bit of pop. It's good to have pop in the opening part of your lineup. So we're going to have George Springer lead off. And I am not looking at any suggested lineup, so I don't know what the suggested lineup is or what their normal lineup is. I'm just playing it by feel. And he runs at a 14. All right, so the number 2 man, who would be a good number 2 man? I know Vladimir Guerrero, but he's got the power to be a 3 or 4 guy, so I'm not putting him in number 2. I'm going to put somebody with contact. Somebody who can make contact. Toronto, not the best team in the world, but you know who can make contact is Ernie Clement. So I'm going to put Clement in the lineup. But he can play all these positions, so I got to figure out where to play him. Do I play him at third? That looks like a possibility. To put him at third base. Seems reasonable to do so. Or could put him at second base. That's another possibility. You know what? I'm going to put him at second base. Ernie Clement, second base. And I realize this may not be riveting TV, but Ernie Clement. Number 3 man is going to be Vlad Guerrero because he's their best hitter. And you usually put the best hitter as your third place hitter. He is a first baseman. And he runs at a 10, and he is a 3E14. So we need a cleanup man now. Who would be a good cleanup man? Who's got the power to be a good cleanup man? Well, we're going to go with Justin Turner as the DH. I know that name from the Dodgers, so Justin Turner will be the DH, bat cleanup. Hitting fifth, I'm setting the lefties to the side for now. I may have to play one of them, but probably Dalton Varsho in center field because he's so good. But I'll put him down near the bottom of the order. So we're looking at these other guys here. Boy, they just don't have a whole lot here. I'm going to go with Alejandro Kirk as the catcher to bat fifth. He runs at an 8. He is a 2, -2, E9. And if anybody has any lineup suggestions, please throw them out. I will not be offended. I will take them under advisement, maybe for future games. All right, so Kirk is there, and it looks like we're going to have Bo Bichette, and he will play shortstop. He's a 4E14 and a 12. All right. We're going to have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Kiner-Falefa will play third base. And he's a 2E5, so he's pretty good at third base. We will go ahead and have Dalton Varsho. Or do we? See, who are we missing here? We're missing a left fielder and a center fielder. Okay. So the left fielder, we're going to have Davis Schneider, the left fielder. And the only left-handed batter is going to be in the lineup is going to be the number 9 man. Don't have a whole lot to work with because Toronto is not the greatest team in the world. So maybe I shouldn't have picked them to start the season, but that's what the computer did. Might have been better off start with the Yankees because at least I know more of the players. But hey, I'm getting my feet wet. And Dalton Varsho. Varsho is in center, where he's a 1, which is always nice to have, -3E3. And he's a 15. So Kirk is a -2. Barrios is a -1, so he's a -3 hole. So that worked out hopefully well. We shall see. Hello, ID. Didn't see you coming in there. I was in thought on my trying to get my lineups together. 8 is the slowest running rating Strat has. They are definitely the slowest runners. All right, so with these guys here, the 4 guys that are on the bench are left-handers Kevin Kiermaier, Spencer Horowitz, Addison Barger, and backup catcher Danny Johnson. That's the 4 they have on the bench, plus the bullpen guys I already talked about. All right, so now that the Blue Jays are done, need to do the A's. Now they are facing a right-hander, Jose Barrios. So obviously left-handers are going to get a better chance. So we'll look through the A's lineup and see if I can find anybody that might be a decent leadoff man. Decent speed, decent on-base percentage. And these are the Oakland A's, so that may or may not come to pass. They just don't have a whole lot, I'm telling you. All right, so in the leadoff spot, and this is almost by default, I'm going to go with Lawrence Butler in right field. This might be an exercise in futility because, like I said, playing as played for all these years, going back and trying to make my own lineups, particularly, in 2015, I was pretty familiar with all the players, but now I'm doing it almost cold turkey where I don't know many of the players at all. So I am just giving it my best shot, doing like Pat Benatar and giving it my best shot. So Butler's going to lead off. Let's see who's going to bat second. Second is going to be, boy, they just don't have a whole lot here. We're going to have Miguel Andujar. He's a former Yankee. Miguel Andujar. I think it's pronounced Andujar. He is a 4, -2 E5 in left field for Andujar. So he will bat second. Hitting third will be Brent Rooker. He's going to be the DH because he's a 5 in the outfield. I don't want him in the outfield. I don't want him anywhere near the outfield. Brent Rooker will DH, and he's a 13. Andujar is an 11. All right. Now we need a cleanup hitter, and I don't think the A's even have a cleanup hitter that hits any home runs. So, boy, I'll find somebody to hit home runs, I guess. I guess we'll go with this guy. He had 9 home runs and just 189 at bats, so he slugged .429. So we're going to go with Tyler Soderstrom. He's going to play first base. So 4E10. Again, not the best teams to start with, but that's what the Strat computer schedule kicked out as the first game. So that's what I'm going with. I'm trying to honor the order of the games that appear. Looks like we're going to go to Abraham Toro for the next hitter. And he is at third base, where he is a 4E17. So lots of 4s for the A's, which is not a good thing, as you know, if you know Strat at all. Let's see here. We got J.J. Bleday in center field. So J.J. Bleday will be in center field. Probably should have moved him up in the order a little bit. His card got hid behind there. Didn't see him. But he's a 4 once again in center field. That's dangerous to have a 4 in center field. But J.J. Bleday did hit 20 home runs. He only hit 243, but he did hit 20 home runs. So I probably should have pushed him up a little higher, but maybe this is a work in progress, so maybe for next time I'll do that. All right, so I need a second baseman, shortstop, and a catcher. All right. Well, the catcher, I got 2 choices. I got Langoliers and I've got McCann. McCann hit 236. Langoliers 224. So we're going to go with Kyle McCann. He is the catcher. Not very good either. Another 4 defensive rated. So, boy, these A's are going to cause me problems with these error checks. I can see it now. All the X checks are just going to be a nightmare. And he also runs at an 8. So now I need second and short. Okay, who's going to play second base and shortstop? Well, we got a Zach Geloff. He hit 211, so he's a good candidate for the number 9 hitter. So I need a shortstop. And we're going to have Max Schumann. Max Schumann is going to play shortstop. He only hit 220. C-H. I got to learn how to spell these names too. Yes, I am glutton for punishment for doing this, but I want to learn the team, so got to pay the price. All right, here's Zach Geloff. I guess it's pronounced Geloff and not Geloff. 2E815, second base. All right, Sears is a +4 hold. McCann's a +2, so he's a +6. 2-0 wild pitch, 2 balk. Go to the where'd it go? Go to the ballpark effects for Oakland. All right, 1 to 5 and 1 to 8 singles. 1 to 5 and 1 to 8. Those are the singles. Home runs in Oakland, 1 to 2 for both. Okay. So we'll put our bench players and the guys on the bench remaining: Ryan Noda, Tyler Nevin, Seth Brown, J.D. Davis, and Shea Langoliers. Those are the 5 guys that are on the bench. I don't know if they make hamburgers, but those 5 guys are on the bench. So that is that. Okay, so I think we are ready to get going and start this game. I need to raise this up just a hair, possibly. I think that's going to be okay like that. Okay. It is the Toronto Blue Jays of John Schneider against Mark Kotsay's Oakland A's, 74-88 against 69-93. The very first game in the Demolition League of 2024 baseball season, where I try to learn the players. J.P. Sears is the pitcher for Oakland. He was 11-13 with a 4.38 earned run average in 32 starts. If he stays healthy, he should get 10 starts because it's usually 1/3. Pitch, because 54 games is 1/3 of the season. So if he stays healthy and doesn't hit his injury, then he will be able to do that. Now, since I don't have the roster sheet in front of me, the pitchers usually have an injury factor on them, so I'll have to figure that out. But I think Sears and Barrios pitch so much that their injury is not even a factor in this one. But once we get to the 3rd and 4th starters especially, they're going to be susceptible to injury. All right. Yes, Bo Duke, absolutely. Hey, Colin. I'm sure everybody's chewing on the White Sox these days. Hello, Thomas. Good to see you. All right. So once again, if you're not familiar with the concept of the Demolition League, I did this a couple years ago with the 2015 season. I got this from Tenacious Earl. He did his Tenacious League, and this is a direct format of that. Take 10 teams, put them together, play each team against the other team 3 times, home and away. That's 6 games against 9 different teams for 54 games. 54 is exactly 1/3 of the 162 schedule. So, but I am doing injuries and I am doing rest rolls, and there are rest rolls. If you're not familiar with rest rolls, the rest rolls appear on the back of the miscellaneous chart where the sacrifice bunts are and stuff. Rest rolls. So, obviously not this game. I'll probably wait till about the 3rd game to do this. But you roll here, roll 1d6, and depending on what comes up, these positions get checked for rest, and then we check the number of plate appearances on the player's card, and if they need to rest, this tells you what they can roll to avoid resting, or if they don't need rest at all. So a guy who has over 600 at bats or 600 plate appearances is never going to need to rest. A guy with less than 374 is going to always have to rest, and there's in between as well. So that's kind of what that's all about. And like I said, there's obviously no as played because these games never happen in real world. So it's all kind of it's real players, but it's a fictitious league if you want to look at it that way. Yes, they do, Joel. They could. They absolutely could. And a lot of times, especially if you get it on the catcher. Um, but even if the catcher role doesn't come up, if I'm not going to let the same catcher catch every single game, I'm going to try to divvy it up as best I can. Okay, game 1 of 270. It's in Oakland. Remember, there is no more Oakland anymore, so this was kind of nostalgic going back to Oakland. J.P. Sears against George Springer. And we're underway here on, what is it, August 8th, 2025. We'll see when I finish, if I finish. 6-7, right-hander against Sears is a strikeout. So the Demolition League starts with a strikeout. George Springer is out of there. That'll bring up Ernie Clement. 6-7 again, another strikeout. J.P. Sears taking the Blue Jays to K. Martin, ringing them up for a no sale with all these strikeouts. Here's Vladimir Guerrero. Or I think they call him Vlad Guerrero for short. 4-4, and that's a catcher X. That'll be McCann. He's a 4-E4, but nobody's on base. So with no one on, there's no worry of a wild pitch or a pass ball. Just got to worry mainly about an error. That's an 11, so we'll check the 4 and the 11. 4 and the 11 for a catcher is a P/F, which is a foul out. And he's an E4, and that's an 8. Whoops, wrong way. E4, there is no 8, so it will be a foul out. So Guerrero fouls out to McCann, and it's a 1-2-3 inning, top of the first for J.P. Sears. And we go to the bottom of the first. It's Toronto nothing and Oakland coming to bat. And on the mound will be Jose Barrios. He was 16-11, 3.60 earned run average for the Blue Jays in 2024. Leading things off will be Lawrence Butler. And this probably, neither one of these lineups probably look like what they used in real world, but that's the whole point. This is not real world. This is kind of the, kind of delving into the mixing real world and fictional. All right, Lawrence Butler, 6'3", and that's a fly ball left field X. That is the left fielder Schneider, a 3-E4. 3 and a 6 should get to that. We'll find out. 3 and a 6. No, he does not. It's a single 2 stars, and that's a 13, and he's an E4. No 13, but it's a single for Lawrence Butler. The Butler did it. He gets the first hit of the Demolition League, and he is looking to take the lead, although Barrios does have a -3 combined hold with the catcher. To get the lead, needs a 7. Does not get the lead, it's a moot point. Yes, alternate universe. You got that right, Ernest. All right, here's Miguel Andujar, or Andujar, I think is really how they called it in New York. That's how that guy from New York, the announcer from New York that irritated everybody all the time with the home run calls, called him Andujar. Andujar, a little emphasis on the U there. 2-7 against the right-hander, and that's a fly to left field no matter how you pronounce it. So Miguel is out of here. That'll bring up the DH, Brent Rooker. He's got some power. Rooker hit 39 home runs in 2024. That's why I've got him in the third position. It's either going to be third or fourth, so I figured I'd put him third. 210, and that is a ballpark single check. 1-8. That's a 20. So that will simply be a fly left. We're out number 2. 2 down for Tyler Soderstrom, or Soderstrom. I think it's Soderstrom. I will learn these pronunciations. I want to look at MLB and learn these pronunciations too, because I'll probably butcher many names. 2-5 is a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. So Barrios pitches well again. Both starters have fatigue of 6, so they can go at least 6, if not more, if they're effective. J.P. Sears will be facing Justin Turner, former Los Angeles Dodger. I think he's now on the Cubs, but he was with the Blue Jays in 2024. He is a designated hitter. Hello, Ken. Good to see you. Yeah, I didn't plan on being this late. I plan on just presenting the league and just saying this is the league and that's it. And I just felt like breaking into the first game, so I did. That's all right. It's the weekend, right? All right, Turner. 4-9 for Sears against the righty is another strikeout. Third strikeout for Sears. Of course, I'm retired, so every day is a weekend for me. All right, here is Alejandro Kirk. 2-5 against the left-hander. That's a free pass, base on balls. First base runner for the Blue Jays is Alejandro Kirk. He has no threat to steal, obviously, so he will not be held. And that'll bring up Bo Bichette, son of Dante Bichette. 2-11, and that's a ground ball, second base B, fielder's choice, 4-6. Bichette will be the new runner, and he is a threat to run. Needs a 5 to obtain the lead. Does not obtain the lead, so he will hold. And here is Isaiah Kina-Falefa. No, Tabby's downstairs, so she's sound asleep. So no threat of that. And when I go back downstairs when I'm done, I try to be as quiet as possible. Sears, 3-5. That's a fly to right field. It's going to end the inning. So nothing doing there for the Jays. Still got no score at the end of 1.5. If you saw the White Sox Detroit game I played the other night, had a really good game until the 9th inning, then it just imploded. But I thought the White Sox actually might pull it off and beat the Tigers, but they showed their true colors in the final inning, and that was that. All right, here's Abraham Toro. He's a third baseman. He hit 6 home runs and a .240 average for the A's. 6'5", switch hitter, batting left-handed, is a ground ball shortstop X. That is Mr. Bichette, 4E14. 4-13, he will get to it. 4-13 is a G3. And when the base is empty, that's good enough. That is a 12, and he is an E14. E14, there's no 12, so good play for Dante, son of a Bichette. And there's one away. Here's J.J. Bleday. He hit 20 home runs with a .243 average on the season. Plays a good not so good center field with a 4 there. All he does have a good arm. 111 against a right-hander. It's a ballpark blast. Ballpark blast, though, are only 2s, and that's a 9, so he just hits a deep fly to right field. Hauled in out there by Springer for out number 2. That'll bring up Kyle McCann. Mainly, I think Langoliers is the main catcher, but I decided to use McCann in this game just because. Just had a feeling. I don't know why I just did it. 5'9", because I guess he's left-handed. I thought he had a better chance against Barrios. 5'9" is a 1-16 home run. That's a 9. He has normal power, and I'm looking like a genius, even though I don't know what I'm doing. Kyle McCann just goes deep in his first at-bat in the Demolition League. 5'9". Look at it again. 1-15 is a home run. Actually, 1-16 is a home run. That's a 9, and he has normal power. So Kyle McCann hit 5 home runs and 140 at-bats. But that translates to about 20 in a full season. So home run for Mr. McCann. Can do it. And the A's take a 1-0 lead. And squirrel. Wow. Here's Max Schumann. 6'5". We're back to Bichette again. 4E14. 4-11. He'll get to it. 4-11 will be a G3. That's a 10. Should be okay with that. E14, and there is no 10. So good play for Bichette. And that will end the inning. But the home run off the bat of McCann gives Oakland a 1-0 lead as we go to the top of the third. Of course, as you may know from my last couple videos, I'm really focusing almost exclusively now on Strat. I do have a couple loose ends to tie up. I am still playing the NBC Game of the Week on season ticket. That will be tomorrow at noon. And I've got one more game left, and that will be tomorrow night around 8 o'clock in the Sparky Bowl and inside pitch. That will be 8 o'clock. Series is tied at 3 apiece, so somebody's got to win Game 7. 1976 Reds against the 1984 Tigers. All right, here's Davis Schneider, but after that, it's pretty much all Strat. 4-2 against the left-hander is a ground ball to third, and it's going to be handled over there by Toro, and there's one away. So Schneider is out of there, and here's Dalton Varsho, center fielder, number 9 hitter. Lefty on lefty matchup, the only lefty in the lineup, by the way. 2-6, and he's going to draw a base on balls. Second walk issued by Sears. Let's see, he can get a jump with a 6. That's a 5. He does not get the jump. So here's George Springer. Struck out his first chance, 1-7. He will strike out again. Springer out on strikes again. Strikeout number 4 for Sears in 2 2/3 innings. Here's Ernie Clement. He also was a strikeout victim. 2-3, and it's a ground ball first base C, so Soderstrom will field it, flip to Sears covering to end the inning. And down go the Jays. So Oakland hanging in there, 1-0 lead. That's the thing when two mediocre teams play in this league to start the season. One of them is going to have a winning record, and it'll probably be the only time all year they have it. So they're going to enjoy it while they can. Here's Zach Geloff, number 9 hitter. 2-5, and that is a ballpark blast, but it's only a 2. That's a 5, so deep fly to left field. So the Oakland Coliseum is preventing a lot of home runs here. Here's Butler. 2-9. He's going to strike out. That's the second strikeout for Barrios. 2 down for Miguel Andujar. Flew to left his first chance. 5-5, and he will strike out again. Does Barrios gets another strikeout for his third strikeout, and at the end of 3, it's 1-0 Oakland. That home run from McCann is holding up. J.P. Sears back out. Heart of the order, Guerrero, Turner, and Kirk for the Jays. 3-2 for Guerrero is a low max to third base, but nobody else is on, so just get the 1 out, not the multiple outs. That'll bring up Turner. Sears to Turner, 2-9. Ground ball to second. That's an easy play for Geloff. 2 down for Alejandro Kirk. 3-6 against the lefty. Struck him out. Strikeout number 5 for Sears, and he is really pitching his way to a good ball game so far. Through 4 innings, he is large and in charge. To the bottom of the 4th for Barrios. And I will say these 2024 cards are pretty sturdy. Comparatively speaking to Strat cards, they're pretty sturdy. 76 was very flimsy. 62 was about average. But these are a little bit above the average card of Strat. They're a little thicker. Certainly not anywhere near payoff pitch quality or anything like that. But for Strat, they're pretty good. All right, so here is Brent Rooker. 111, and that's a ballpark blast. But again, it's only a 1-2. So again, another home run has been thwarted by Oakland Coliseum. Here's Tyler Soderstrom. 5-8, and that's a 1-4 triple. 18, though, is a fly to center. And that's tracked down out there by Varsho for 2 down. And if you're looking at these players wondering who the heck they are, join the club. I'm learning. Just started. Here's Abraham Toro. 6-10, switch hitter. Fly ball to center, and again, hauled in by Varsho. 1-2-3 go the A's. At least we're scooching along here. Good thing for late night, we get a quick game. Of course, somebody just jinxed it right there, cursed it. Now we're going to have a 15. Well, that's another thing. Since it's 2024, I am going to use 2024 rules. I am going to use the ghost runner, and I am going to use that a pitcher has to face 3 batters before he comes out. If I'm going to play the modern season, I need to play the modern season. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or move it around or any of that stuff. I'm going to play it as it, like in golf, I'm going to play it as it lies. Here's Bichette, 111, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-8. That's a 4. It's a base hit, and there goes the no-hitter. He had it for 4 innings, but a ballpark single for Bo Bichette breaks that up. Now Bo Bichette needs a 5 to get the lead. Cannot obtain that lead, so he will hold. And here's Kina Falefa. Most of these cards have terrible bunt ratings, so to try to bunt in these modern games is not very smart, based on the ratings. 6-6, that's a fly to center. I mean, it might be a smart baseball move, but they just don't have the skills to do it. Most of the bunters are either C or D. All right, here's Davis Schneider, the left fielder. I'm not a big bunter anyway, but this just makes it even worse. 3-6, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 6 for J.P. Sears. And that brings up Dalton Varsho. He walked his first time. Varsho, 4-2, left-handed. Fly ball to right. That's going to end the inning. So Sears has tossed 5 shutout frames. And right now, McCann's home run is still holding up. 1-0 going to the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Blade, McCann, and Schumann. Due up for the Oakland A's or Oakland Athletics, whatever you want to call them. I've always called them the A's, but I think they're technically the Athletics now. I've always called them the A's, though. I grew up as an A fan. So 4-6 against a lefty is a strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for Blade. Brings up Kyle McCann, who hit the home run his first time up. 3-4. It's a single this time. There's a omega symbol there, but you have to have runners in scoring position with 2 outs to nullify that hit. Since the bases were clear, it's a clean single. So McCann, hello D. Scott. So McCann is 2 for 2. How about that? He's got 2 of the 3 Oakland hits. Here's Max Schumann, 5-7. That's a fly to center. Again, Varsho makes the play. A lot of flyouts from Barrios. He must be a fly ball pitcher. It's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8. 8 of the 14 outs have been flyouts. 4 of them have been strikeouts, and only 2 have been groundouts. So here's Zach Geloff. 6-2. It's another flyout to left field. And that's going to do it. So at the end of 5, it's still 1-0 Oakland. And now the 6th inning will begin the fatigue inning for both pitchers. Keep an eye on them. Sears will face the top of the order, George Springer, Ernie Clement, and Vlad Guerrero. 1-7 is another strikeout for Sears. That's strikeout number 7. And that's the hat trick for Springer. He's 0 for 3 with 3 Ks. He did strike out 115 times in the 24 season. So maybe he shouldn't be hitting leadoff. Maybe I need to re-examine that. Here's Clement, 6-9. And that's trouble. 1-17 is a home run. He does have normal power. That's a 4. Ernie Clement has just tied this game. He had 12 home runs on the season. Look at it again. 6-9 against the righty for Sears is a 1-17 home run. That's a 4, and he has normal power. This game is tied. Ernie Clement, a solo shot. Ernie Clement has tied this game. That'll bring up Vlad. Speaking of home runs, he's certainly capable. 110, and that's a ballpark blast, but again, it's only a 2. So just a deep fly to left. Oakland Coliseum taking that away. At most other parks, probably would have been a home run with that 4 there. I'm sure in the Sky Dome or Rogers Center, or whatever they call it, that would have been a home run in Toronto, I'm pretty sure. All right, here's Justin Turner. 4-4, right-handed. That's catcher X again, and we're looking at McCann, a 4E4. 4 and a 12. Again, nobody on base, so there's no pass ball or wild pitch possibilities. A 4 and a 12 is a foul out. and that's an 8, and he is a E4, NE4. There is no 8, so it's a foul out to McCann to end the inning. But Toronto ties the game on the home run by Clement. Sears only gave up that one hit, so he's still not tired. He can continue. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 1-1 now. And this is Barrios' fatigue inning. And we're at the top of the order for Butler. Since it's so late, I will not be doing a 7th inning stretch because I want to get this game done before it gets real late. So don't want to spend that time. So we'll eschew that for tonight. 4-5. Butler is a left-handed hitter. 4-5 is a strikeout. So Butler out on strikes. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. So strikeout is good. His 5th of the game. Here's Miguel Andujar. He's 0 for 2. 1-4. Ground ball to third. Easy play there for Kiner-Falefa. 2 up and 2 down for Brent Rooker. He has flown to left twice. He's lost at least one home run on the ballpark blast. 3-6 and 1-17 is a single, so he'll at least get the base hit. He can steal. Got a 6 to get the lead. And he gets the 6. How about that? He's going to go 8. Well, he has to go. 18 being held 2 is a 16. Minus 3 is 13. 1-13. Kirk has a throwing chance error of a 3, so he's going to throw through. 1-13. And he's in there. Stolen base for Rooker. His first stolen base, obviously, of the Demolition League. He's in scoring position with 2 outs now. Turns this into a clutch situation for Tyler Soderstrom. We'll see what he does in the clutch against right-handers. He loses a couple of hits here. 1-3 and 1-5 will turn to outs. It's a 6-7, though. Ground ball second base X. That is Clement. He's a 3E32. They were not holding the runner on, so this keeps his 3E32. 3-12 for a second baseman. Should be okay. 3-12 is a G2. And that's an 8, and he is an E32. That could be problematic. E32, but there is no 8 under the E32. So it's a good play, and that will retire the Oakland A's. So at the end of 6, it's still 1-1. And both starters are able to go into the 7th without being fatigued. They still have a little bit of juice left in them. Not steroids, hopefully, but other kind of, energy type juice. Here's Alejandro Kirk. Kirk walked and struck out. 3-6 to the lefty. He's going to strike out again. Strikeout number 8 for J.P. Sears. I don't know if it's these bad teams or if I'm going to run into this excessive strikeouts again during the 24 season. I thought they had reduced those, but maybe they hadn't. 5-6, and that's going to be a fly to right field. 2 down. Bo Bichette retired. Here's Kiner-Falefa. He is 0 for 2. 4-5, right-handed. Ballpark blast again, but again, it's only a 2, so Kiner-Falefa flies to left, and that's going to end the inning. So Sears can go on for one more inning. The rule book usually says not to go more than 2 innings past what his fatigue number is. So the 8th, and actually we'll probably go ahead and, I think since it's opening day, we're going to go ahead and cap Sears at 7 innings, and I'll cap Barrios the same way, just to be realistic, because you wouldn't wear a guy out on opening day. So he's going to go 7 innings, give up 1 run, which was the homer to Clement. And he only gave up 2 hits. He walked 2, and he struck out 8. So a very fine outing for J.P. Sears, and we'll figure out the bullpen in the top of the 8th. Right now, Barrios will come out, and this will be his last inning. He'll be facing Toro, Leday, and McCann. I don't know if I want to play 2. It's already 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. So, and I've been up since about 6:15 this morning, so I'm getting a little tired myself. I mean, not so tired I can't finish this game, but I can't even think about starting a second game. But the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. 1-6 for Toro is a ground ball to short. but I appreciate the sentiment. At least that means you guys aren't. I didn't put you guys to sleep yet. All right, here's Blade, because I have no idea how this is going to. I had no idea how this whole concept or 24 season would come across to everybody. People seem to like the older season, so I'm taking a chance doing this. 6-11 ballpark single check 1 to 5. That's a 17. So it's going to be a liner to second for out number 2. But to my knowledge, there's nobody else on YouTube playing the 2024 season. So, well, Justin, I am doing the what do you call it? I am going to do the Ghost Runner if that comes up. Hey, Tony, good to see you. Yeah, it's appropriate we're in Oakland because it's about 8 o'clock out in Oakland time, so they're just getting started out there. Here's Kyle McCann. He homered for the only run of the game. He's 2 for 2. 5-11, and he's got a chance to homer again. Ballpark blast, but again, it's only a 2. So he hits a deep fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. That'll do it for Barrios. He's going to go 7 innings as well, give up 1 run. And let's check the peripherals for him. Let's see, 2, 3, looks like 4 hits he gave up. Now watch the bullpen come in and implode and give up, 15 runs. Let's see here. No walks. Barrios didn't walk anybody. Struck out 5. So 2 great pitching lines for the starters. I will say that. But question is now, what kind of bullpen are you going to get? Again, we'll look at the Oakland bullpen and see who's available. I might use this guy just because I like his name. Hogan Harris. Lucas, I guess it's Ursage, but he looks like a closer. He had 14 saves. Actually, Mason Miller's a closer. He had 28. So I'm going to use Ursage. I think I'm going to use Ursage before I even go any further. I liked his numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and use Lucas. I think it's pronounced Ursage. If it's something else, let me know in the comments and I'll correct my pronunciation. Let's see here. He's a -2. Can's a +2 for a net of 0. All right, so Schneider, Varsho, and Springer due up. Now, since a right-hander is in the lineup or in the pitching for Oakland, these lefties on the bench now can come into play. So we're in the 7th inning, so we're past the 7th inning, so we're allowed to do some pinch hitting. Let's see here, Schneider kind of averages. He's only a 191 hitter, and he's 0 for 2. So we might be looking at using Spencer Horowitz or Addison Barger. What to do? They're going to use Spencer Horowitz to pinch hit, and they're going to bring Kevin Kiermaier in to play center and move Varsho to left. That will give them 2 number 1s rated outfielders. So Horowitz is going to pinch hit here in the 8th. Spencer Horowitz. And then Kiermaier, longtime former Tampa Bay Ray, will be in center field in the 8th. And Varsho will move to left field. And Varsho in left field is still a 1, still got the same rating, so that didn't change. All right, so it's going to be Schneider, Varsho, and Springer due up against Lucas Ursage, 2-6, 3.36 ERA, and 14 saves in the 24 season. He later gets traded to Kansas City, but he's with Oakland to start the season. Ursage, 6-7 to the lefty Horowitz, is a ground ball second base X. That is Geloff. He's a 2E8. That's a 2 and a 19. He'll get to that. The E8 and the 4 should be okay, I would think. E8 and there's no 4, so it's good play. for Geloff, and Horowitz is retired. And of course, now that means Kiermaier will come in and play center field with his 1-3 E8. And Varsho will move from center field to left field, where he still keeps his 1 E3. So Varsho, the batter, 1-8, and he's going to strike out. 2 down, and here's George Springer. Speaking of strikeouts, he's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. 1-8, and he's 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. He's got the golden sombrero. He is not hitting leadoff next time. I think I learned that lesson already. All right, here's Ernie Clement. He homered for the only run of the game for Toronto. 111. That's a ballpark blast again, but again, it's only a 2, so Oakland Coliseum is just taking away those home run chances. And so we go to the bottom of the 8th. I'd already put a 0 there for some unknown reason. I guess I knew what was coming. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th and a new pitcher for Toronto. It'll be Schumann, Geloff, and Butler for the A's. Who's going to come in for the Blue Jays? Looks like we got righty, and Butler is a lefty. So righty, lefty. In the bullpen, Trevor Richards. He's okay, I guess. Chad Green. He had 17 saves. That's not bad. Well, these other guys, Swanson, Pearson, aren't very good. Pop, none of those are any good. I guess we'll go with Trevor Richards. We'll do Trevor Richards, a right-hander. And on the season, he was 2-2 with a 4.55 ERA and a save. He would later get traded to Minnesota for their stretch run. So I'll trade him to Minnesota in this league later on in the season. But Max Schumann will lead things off against Trevor Richards. 5 strikeouts in the game. I don't even, maybe a feather in the golden sombrero. I don't know. All right, here's Schumann. He's 0 for 2. 4-6, and that's going to be a base on balls. That's something relief pitchers are not supposed to do, is start walking guys. Richards is a 0 hold. So with Kirk, it's a -2. All right, so Schumann, to get the lead, needs a 6. Needs a 6. And he gets the 6, so he's going to go 19. Being held is a 17, -2 is a 15. 1 to 15, he will steal second base. And he's in there. It's a possible throwing error on Kirk. He's a T3, but he does not throw it away. But it is a stolen base for Schumann, and that's big. Gets him into scoring position with nobody out, and it'd be a perfect time to bunt. But Geloff is a 0 bunter, and I don't think they've got anybody on the bench that can do it any better. These modern guys just don't know how to bunt. Case in point, look at all those players, D bunters. Every single one of them are D bunters. Four out in the top of the 8th. Did I give him 4? I think I did give him 4 outs, didn't I? I sure did. He still got them all out. Oh, well. What are you going to do? Fortunately, it didn't affect anything. Yeah, lost count of outs, I guess. Sure did. Probably that pinch hitter messed me up. But fortunately, nobody got runs, so that was the main thing. Good catch there, D. Scott. I did not see that. Hello, Michael. Good to see you. Yeah, forget that I gave him 4 outs in the 8th inning. Of course, putting this in the computer is going to be rough now, too, because I got to be able to figure out how to do that when I put the game to score it. I got to figure out how to work around that. That's going to be interesting. All right, here's Geloff. Since he can't bunt, 2-11. That's a ballpark blast, but again, it's only a 2, so it's a deep fly to left. He has flown to left all 3 times. Oakland Coliseum has not given up any home runs, that's for sure. Yep, Tony, I was hoping to avoid that, but maybe with the better teams, it's not quite as prevalent. 2 mediocre teams might have been, the genesis of this. 4-8 against a left-hander is a walk. So that puts first and second now with one out. And Butler can run, but is already running in front of him on second base, so he's not going to go anywhere. And here's Andujar, second baseman. He's got some singles, double stars on his card. They could certainly use that right now. He's 0 for 3. 2-11. He gets a single ballpark chance, 1-8. That's a 4. It will be a base hit, but it's only one star. The bases are now loaded for Brent Rooker, a big power hitter. And now you wonder if they're going to pull Richards. He's faced 3 batters, so I could pull him and go to somebody else if they think they can get out of it. Green's a closer. They're going to save him, hopefully. But I just don't think there's anybody else in the bullpen that's worthy. There's some guys with ERAs over 5. Except for Genesis Cabrera, but he's a lefty. I don't want to bring in a lefty. So we're going to let Richards try to work his way out of it. Bases loaded, one out. Infield looking for the double play. They are back for the double play. 3-10, right-handed, is a bases loaded walk. Third walk of the inning from Trevor Richards, and he is going to leave the ball game. That puts the A's up 2-1. Bases are still loaded. Trevor Richards is gone. With the lefty Soderstrom up to bat, they will bring in left-hander Tim Mayza, who will later get traded to the Yankees. But Tim Mayza is on. It's +9. Oh, that's terrible, but bases loaded, so it's not going to matter. Richards goes a third of an inning, gives up a hit and walks 3. So far, he's given up 1 run, but he's responsible for everybody on the bases. Infield back for the double play. Nothing on the Havoc. Hello, Mr. Utah Mike. 4-11 to Mayza. Ground ball shortstop B, and playing back cost him. It's just a 6-4 fielder's choice. But if you play in and hit that plus sign, you're screwed. So you're darned if you do and darned if you don't, I guess. Bases loaded. They were thinking they could turn the double play, but they just didn't get it in fast enough. It's an RBI ground out for Soderstrom on a fielder's choice, and the A's lead it 3-1. And speaking of Mason Miller, he is loosening in the bullpen for the A's to come in and try to close it out in the 9th. He is their de facto closer, unquestionably. If you look at his card, 2-2, 2.49 ERA, and 28 saves. So he is loosening the bullpen to try to close the door. Switch hitter Abraham Toro is in, but Mays has got to face 3 batters, so there's not like the old days we can flip-flop back and forth. He's got to face Toro one way or the other. RJL, surprised you're still up this late. I know you had an exhausting inside pitch presentation, so I hope you're resting now. And I will be doing the Sparky Bowl tomorrow night since you're not streaming tomorrow night. The Sparky Bowl will be tomorrow night, roughly around 8 o'clock, to get that finished and completed, Game 7. All right, so Mayza to Toro. 5-11, switch to batting right-handed. Ground ball, first base X. That is Vlad Guerrero. He's 3-14. He must make this play. 3-14, he will get to it. Now, will he make the play or will he bungle it? That's an 8. He's an E14. There's a 9 there, but no 8. So he makes the play, flips to Mayza covering to end the inning. 2 runs come in. They're charged both to Richards. And the A's take a 3-1 lead into the top of the 9th. And coming in for the Oakland A's will be Mason Miller to close the deal, or at least to attempt to close the deal. Ursedge pitched 1 inning. Actually, I erroneously gave them 4 outs, so he really got 4 outs, but I'll give him 1 inning and 2 strikeouts because the 4th out was a fly to left, so he actually earned those 2 strikeouts. When I put this in the Strat computer, I got to finagle a way to get 4 outs out of this. Maybe I'll make one of the strikeouts where it was a wild pitch or something. He got first base. I don't know. I think I might be able to direct entry. I might be able to finagle it, put him on base. So here's Mason Miller. He is a +2 hold, which makes him a +4 overall. And he's going to face the heart of the order, Guerrero, Turner, and Alejandro Kirk. Miller, oh, let's get Guerrero after the bat. That would help, wouldn't it? 3-8 for Guerrero, and he's going to ground it to second, where it'll be taken in. In fact, let's move the players over here. We can see them better. That's going to be done by Geloff. He'll make the play. 1 down for Justin Turner. A's looking to start the Demolition League 1-0, 4-11, and that will be a strikeout. Strikeout Mason Miller. Last chance. It's Alejandro Kirk. (1-8). That's a fly to right, and there's your ball game. Mason Miller closes them down in the 9th for his first save. The winning pitcher is Serge, or however you pronounce it. Losing pitcher is Richards. Meza is going to go 2/3 of an inning and not give up anything. Miller, 1 inning pitched with a strikeout. So, Toronto Blue Jays struck out 11 times. The A's only struck out 5, but Blue Jays struck out 11. And they only managed 2 hits. So 1 run and 2 hits, 3 runs and 5 hits for Oakland. I don't think there were any errors as far as I can tell. So Oakland improves to 1-0, obviously, here on opening night in the Demolition League. And for people that came in late, this is the schedule that Strat Computer has given me. We just played Toronto at Oakland, so I can scratch that off. Game 1 of 270. The next game scheduled is the Cubs and Dodgers from Los Angeles. Then we have the Marlins and Minnesota from Target Field. Then Kansas City out at the West Coast to play San Diego. And then finally the Yankees will be taking on the Pirates in Pittsburgh. That'll be the first block of a 3-game series before the teams switch opponents. So, like I said, most of this will be done offline. I will play the first game of each of these 5 series online, just to introduce people to the league and introduce me to the 2024 players so I can learn them. But really, this is a dress rehearsal for next year, because next year is when I want to really start this, back in February when the cards come out and I have more time. But hey, I'm on a late start, but better late than never, as they say. So the A's beat the Blue Jays 3-1. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Oakland. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for Toronto. Winning pitcher is Serge. Losing pitcher Richards. Miller with his first save. Home runs in the game, Clement his first. McCann his first. And player of the game, boy, you could give it to both starters because they pitched very, very well. Oakland offensively, when you only get 5 hits, it's kind of hard to give it to an offensive player. Man, I'm not even sure who to get player of the game to. Maybe for Oakland, you get a player of the game to Richards because he crapped the bed there in the 8th inning. Maybe do a reversal there and give it to the opposing player. I don't know. So anyway, Robert, I didn't get a chance to check your video out tonight. I will check it out at some point tomorrow and see what's there. I dipped in for a few seconds and saw that Chris was in the chat. But really, my whole sense of inside pitch has soured since they've gone to this new revelation in gaming that I don't really care for. But that's why I say play the game you like the way you want to play it. Not mad at anybody that likes to play it or would like to play it or would like to learn it. Maybe in a couple years, if it's refined, I might check it out, but don't really know. Right now, I'm up to my eyeballs in Strat anyway, so because I still have 1987 to kick back in place. And so once Sparky Bowl is done tomorrow night, that'll clear inside pitch off my schedule. And then the only thing I have this non-strat will be every Saturday afternoon playing the NBC game of the week, and that will only go until the end of September when the season's over. And then I can fully concentrate on my 2 strat projects, this one and the 1987 season, and learning the players and whatnot. It was a 3-hour stream. I'm sure it was. I know you were probably going slow to show people as well. So, no, Dav, I decided to. I'm having more fun doing strat than I am. The APA thing last Friday did it for me. I did that, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I playing a game like this that I don't like to play? So I figure, why waste my time? You know, play the game you like. Like I say at the end of all the videos, play the game you like the way you like to play it. Well, the game I like to play is this game right here. So if I'm playing other games, that's taken away from playing this. So, like I said, finish out the inside pitch game tomorrow night, Sparky Bowl, Game 7. Get that completed. And I will continue to play the NBC game of the week in season ticket baseball. Just the, I don't think I'm going to do any playoffs. I think I'm just going to play the NBC game of the week like it was on TV. Because once you got the playoffs, you didn't have the NBC game of the week anyway. You just went straight to other channels that were doing games at night and whatever. So the whole concept of doing that was to get the feel of that Saturday afternoon telecast. And that is the NBC game of the week, not necessarily the season itself or the playoffs. So once that's done, then I'm done with that. Yeah, it'll be over at the end of September. Yeah, we're starting into August now, so I've got another 2 months to, or 2 months of games to go. So it'll be over, at the end of September, and then I can really concentrate on this. And also, I've been waiting about 4 days to get this game on the table from 1987. But actually, what I've decided to do, for those that didn't catch it earlier, since I've got these 2 things going on, I am going to revert back the way I did 1980, the way I was doing 1987. I'm going to pick one game of that calendar day and play it on video, on a stream. The other ones I'm going to play offline so I can get through this thing faster, or I'll be dead before I get a chance to finish it. I'll die of old age before I get a chance to finish this, especially since I'm doing this and I'm really focusing on the current players and learning them. I'm going to give, like 75% of my effort into this, and maybe 25%. Maybe that's a bad percentage, but it's not going to be exactly 50-50. I'm going to give, more to this than to this. But I still will do this. I still enjoy 87. It's one of my favorite seasons. So I'm going to split the time between the 2. And but I got some catching up to do here. I'm doing pretty well on this one up in the middle of May. So I've got 2 more games from May 14th. I've got this one in Toronto, Minnesota. I'll play those offline. Then I'll pick one game from May 15th, stream it, and then play the other games offline, and then show you the score sheets when I'm done. That's the best way I know to. I tell you what, Dav, there's better ways to go than, or there's worse ways to go than being slumped over a dice tower. There are definitely worse ways to go. I just hope when I go that I roll a 20 and not a 1, because I don't want to be next to the devil die when I go. So, but maybe I'll go on a low max. How about that? Maybe I'll get my first cycle in strat, or first cycle in any game, first no hitter in strat, one of those things, and then I'll croak after that. Who knows? I don't know. But so yeah, that's the plan. Is to play all. I want to play all the other 4 games from opening day of the Strat-O-Matic Demolition League. Then what I plan to do with the Demolition League is the same thing I'm planning to do with the 87 league itself. Pick one game from that day that I think is the most interesting, stream that, and then play the other ones offline, do a recap before the next game starts, and so forth. No simming, and I can't sim the 24 season because I don't have that on computer. I've got the 23 season that I brought over to make it to 24, but the cards are all 23 cards. So if I tried to sim this, it would be using the 23 stats, and that would be a waste of time. Um, Technically, I could sim 87, but I don't like to do that. I like to play it and put it on the computer. So now what I do when I play offline many times is I'll have the score sheet here, and if I don't feel like doing the tower, I'll use the dice roller, not the Strat-O-Matic dice roller, but the dice roller program, and input my own dice in there, and just keep the score on the score sheet and let the computer do it as I'm playing it. It kind of speeds it up a little bit. So it all depends on what I'm feeling. If I'm feeling like that, I'll do that. If not, I'll just play it the way I usually play it. But sometimes it's nice to, like if I'm sitting up in bed, I can play it on the computer. If I don't need the dice tower, use the dice roller, have my score sheet here, have the cards with me, or cards are actually on the computer too. So no, Sin, I don't. I'm not much of a social media person. Um, oh, thank you, K fan. Like I said, I wasn't sure. I didn't know because people don't put the modern games out on Strat, at least not that I've seen. So I just assumed that nobody liked it. So I'm taking a chance doing this, but at least it's different, something nobody else is doing anyway. Um, but no, what I'll do is I will on my streams I will show the standings um, for the season that I'm playing. Oh, thank you, RGL. Like I said, I'm sure you know more of the 24 players than I do. I don't know a lot of the 2024 players, so I'm trying to learn them. And this is my way to try to learn. I mean, I can go on and watch MLTV too, which I will do. I'll watch some highlights on MLB TV, but if I can get them on the table and see their cards, that gives me an indication of what kind of player they are. So, I mean, yeah, I know Vladimir Guerrero. I've heard of him. I know Justin Turner. I know George Springer. I know Bo Bichette is Dante Bichette's kid. Um, I know Andujar from the Yankees, but most of these other guys, I don't even know who they are. So, thank you, Peter. Like I said, trying to be different. Again, this is just a warm up because next year for the 25 season, I want to get that when it first comes out from Strat, so I can have it in February, and that way I've got more time to play it. Like I said, I'm about 4 months late to the party, but try to make it up, and I'm not gonna. We'll see how far I get between now and February with this thing when the next season comes out. Because when the next season comes out, that's when I'll put this on hold and we'll redo it with the 25 season. So I probably won't get through all 54 games for all the teams. It's just the setup I have. I might actually uh, edit this and do 4 games for each team, 2 games out of the 3-game series, and skip the other games. And that way I can hit all the teams will get their player by at least 4 times, and that's 36 games apiece times 5. That's only about 160 something games. That's doable between now and February. I'm not sure the 270 is doable, so I may alter that. I may go ahead and just do 2 games apiece instead of the 54. And then when 25 season comes out and I can start in February, then I'll do the 54 because then I'll have the whole summer long to do it. So anyway, that's it from here. Don't forget tomorrow, season ticket, roughly around noon. It's the 78 NBC game of the week, the Dodgers and the Giants from Candlestick. It'll be Bob Ebony Eyes Welch against Ed Halecki. That's the matchup there. And tomorrow night at 8 o'clock will be the Sparky Bowl, Game 7, inside pitch. Tigers and the Reds tied at 3 games apiece. Gary Nolan against Jack Morris. Winner take all in that game. And then once we get past that, then from Sunday till next Saturday, it's going to be all Strat-O-Matic. Mostly 2024 with a few 87 mixed in. I doubt I'll play any more 76 or a 62 for a while because I just want to play a few games just to get used to the cards. But my focus now is just on these 2 seasons, 2024 and 1987. So the next game that I'm going to be playing will probably be Sunday. I'm guessing it'll be Sunday. It'll be the Cubs and the Dodgers. So what I'll probably do, instead of having these be 3-game series, I'll change these all to 2-game series, and that'll help me get through the thing a little quicker. I can go into the Strat computer schedule and edit these and delete these third games from every game, and that way it kind of gives them a pseudo off day too, because there's not a whole lot of off days in there. So, but the next game is the Cubs and the Dodgers, and the final game is New York and Pittsburgh. I'm thinking about using Paul Skeens in that game, but that wouldn't be realistic because he didn't have the most innings. I tried to go with the pitcher with the most innings. So I'll probably pitch him maybe the second game. I want to pitch him against the Yankees, so it might be the second game, not the first game. I don't know. But since it's the first game, I might change my rule around a bit and just put in Paul Skeens and see how he does against Aaron Judge and the Yankees. That could be interesting. So, but that's what I have scheduled, and we'll see how it goes. See how much fun I'm having. See how I'm learning the other players or the newer players and whatnot. So, and again, so Cubs and Dodgers. So let me see who would be the likely starters for those 2 games based on who I have. We are showing, let's see who the heck is the top starter. Well, Glasnow started the opening game in Real World against the Cardinals, but whether I'd use him on opening day, I don't know. He does, I think, have the most innings, so I'll probably use Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. And for the Cubs, I have no idea who their top starter is. Let's see who's got the most innings. Probably Justin Steele. He started opening day against Texas, so it's probably Justin Steele against Tyler Glasnow. That would be the matchup, and that would most likely be on Sunday. So it's getting late. I need to get to bed. I'm getting tired, that's for sure. Yeah, Dad, there's different ways to do it, but I like to try to mimic the usage as well, and not overuse the guys that my goal is to get them all, uh, just a portion of what they did in Real World, but weighted, the right way. So, but we'll see how it turns out. A lot of it's by feel, just how what I pull out and who I think would have a good outing. We shall see. All right, that's good. Do it from here. Demolition League Game 1 is down. And I'm going to give an exact total here since I'm going to edit this to 2 games per team or 4 games against each opponent. Get my handy dandy calculator out. Let's see here. So 4 games times, let's see, 9, and they're playing 4 games. So instead of 54, it's 36. So 36 times 5. So 180 games. 180 games. That could be interesting. 180 games. Interesting. Hope I did that right. Did I calculate that right? I don't know. I'm getting tired, so my math's probably not good. Let's see. If you play every team 4 times, that's 36 games. And if I play 36 games in 5 matchups, that's 180 games. So, yeah, that sounds right. No, it's 9. It's 10 teams, Dad, because you got 10 teams playing 9 other teams. They're playing 4 games apiece, not 8 games. 4 games. 2 games at home, 2 games on the road. That's 36 games times the 5 teams, times the 10 teams in the 360 and cut it in half because they're playing each other. It'd be 180. So it's a total of 180 games instead of the 207 that I would have been doing. So I think I could No, I'm sorry, 2 home and 2 away, because I originally was doing 3 home and 3 away, but I'm taking out one of those games and making it a 2-game instead of a 3-game series. So, yeah, because I just don't have enough time between now and February. But I think 170 games is doable. I think it's doable, especially since I'm retired. I think it's doable. Um, so I want to do something more realistic. So that's my plan for the Demolition League. Maybe it's Demolition League light, only 36 games instead of 54 games. So, but 36, let's see, 36 divided by 162. So it's about 22% of the full season. So my goal is that each starting pitcher will start about 20% of what he actually started. If he had 20 starts real world, he should get 4 starts in this league, roughly. So that's what the goal is. Of course, in 25, my plan is to start from scratch in February, and I'll buy the 25 set with the computer game and everything else. So I have everything on the computer. I won't have to do so much finagling. They'll all be there. And players I'm missing that aren't carded will be there, so I can print them off and have even more players to choose from, like I did in 2015. That will be the full-blown 54 games, and that's what I really enjoyed back for the 2015 season. So anyway, that's going to do it from here. I am definitely fading fast, as they say. It's definitely past my bedtime. I'm definitely not usually in bed by a little after 11. So, um, unfortunately, even though I'm retired, I still, and Tabby's part of this. She wakes me up early. So even though my wife's gone to